Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's Boy Talk here, and today I'm bringing you guys the GBA Season 9 rebooted Pick'em crew. I am not alone. I have a guest with me. He can introduce himself.
Yo, what is going on, guys? I'm Ghost with the God.
Yeah, it is Austin. Goldoa actually got promoted to main league, so thank you all for spamming the Goldoa for main hashtag. We finally booted him to the promised land. Booted really isn't the right word for that. Promoted.
No.
We'll run with promoted. Anyway, I do have Garchomp the God with me. He is one of my good friends, and I'm glad to have him on this show. So let's get rocking and rolling right into the first matchup here. So the first matchup we have of the season is the Kansas City Trubbish versus the New York Empoleon, which is the TTM Jolt for the Trubbish and TTM Goldoa Dragon for the Empoleon. Now, if you're on Jolt's side, Specs Dialga and Scarfictini come in, claim your wife, kids, and your wallet, then swap out, and then repeat the process. Like something like Spadef, Rindo, Crocodile, and hoping Goldoa doesn't have Orisphere on Dialga is really your only way of stopping him. On your side, Mega Arrow could do some work, but it's pressured heavily by Ditto coming in, copying it, and revenging your own.
I mean, Jolt's got some switch-ins that he can, utilize to his ability. Being the fact that Jolt is really, he's very good at using fairy types, and he's probably got one of the best fairy types in the format, being in Magearna. The only downfall that he has, obviously, with that Magearna is he can't let Magearna get too many kills, or Ditto can come in and just, try to reverse sweep him, really. But, with the combination of Magearna and Mew being one of the most, what's the word?
Versatile?
Viable. Yeah, versatile Pokemon in the format. That's something that Jolt can probably utilize as well. However, Jolt does have Veil on his side, but Goldoa's got like 3 defoggers. So Jolt's going to have to try to work around the defoggers, trying to keep Veil up so that Victini can't come in and claim a kill pretty much every time.
I personally think this is such a hard matchup for Jolt, just because of Specs Dialga, like Scarf Lele, Scarfictini, and if he gets kills with Magearna, Ditto literally swaps in, and if he has the right mindset and has like HP Fire IVs, and Magearna's packing HP, Hidden Power Fire to that Magearna is going to do some serious damage, even with Veil. I don't care. Like, this is such a hard matchup, but I'm locking Goldoa week 1. What am I doing? The Crystal Goldoa is a legitimate thing. He loses week 1 in every league. I do hope that he breaks it here, because Zekrom is like one of the biggest threats, because that's something like Ditto goes in and it doesn't copy any real big stat boosts. But you have Serp, Crobat, and Mega B all to help revenge.
So something that I'm looking at the matchup, and Jolt can honestly run something like a Trick Room variant of Magearna to help him with Goldoa's pretty good speed tiers. Like, he's got Lele, Victini at the base 100, he's got Superior and Crobat, and mainly that Mega Beedrill being Goldoa's fastest Pokemon. Jolt can run Trick Room Magearna and kind of abuse that for a few turns.
That's hoping like something like a Spadef Donphan isn't around, because I could definitely see that coming as a thing as well. Either way, this is going to be a really good game. I'm locking Goldoa.
I'm going with Jolt. I think Jolt can win this game if he plays well enough, because like you said, there's a lot of things on Goldoa's team that Jolt doesn't really appreciate.
Those are the big things. Either way, this is going to be a really good game. Alright, let's move on to our next one, which is the Pittsburgh Piratas versus the Houston Team Rockets, and Old Man Tup versus HLD Productions and Randy. Now, Tup. I'd say Tup has a good team, but it's Tup. He has to prove to me he can win a game before I can even think of picking him. Skyman is really cool, but I don't know how you beat P2 plus offensive Yveltal. Now, if you're on Randy's side, Jolteon, Mega Latias, and Infernape run more train on top than a train station in Boston. Like, Roserade is really nice this game to also stack hazards and stop my Logic and Entei from switching in a lot.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Tup's got the new toy. He's got Zeraora. And I'm looking at Randy's team, and Randy really doesn't appreciate like a I think Zero Aura gets like bulk up or work up or something.
Yes, it does get bulk up.
Yeah, and so really the only thing that Randy wants to switch in on that Zero Aura is Hippowdon.
Which
and
is
Zero Aura does get Grass
in.
Knot. Zero Aura does get Grass Knot too, and if Tup makes that prediction, good on him. But while Zero Aura's move pool isn't the greatest, it still does get things that will help Tup in this matchup, such as Knock Off, Close Combat, Plasma Fist being a signature move, Grass Knot to help the Hippowdon. There's some things that Tup can do to kind of slow down the Porygon and the Suicune and all that. But the main thing that Randy has to watch out for is Battle Bond Greninja. That thing is a threat.
So I'm just calculating based on max HP. I just put up a calc quick of Hippowdon versus Zero Aura. A neutral nature, no special attack. Grass Knot does 67 maximum to max HP Hippowdon. That's no Spadef investment and no Spatak investment.
Okay.
And then Earthquake Okos, even with no attack.
Right. Well, I would hope Tup will be, intelligent enough to not leave the Zero Aura in on the Hippowdon.
Well,
unless
we
he's
never
already
know.
chipped it down a little bit, but,
We never know. But yeah, that is something to keep in mind.
But, I'm looking at Jolt's team, and Tup's team, rather, and he's got 2 Pokemon that want to deal with Suicune. 2 Pokemon that can really only deal with Suicune, being Shaman Sky and Zero Aura. So he has to keep those 2 healthy, or Suicune is just going to wall him down, really.
He's going to pull a 60-minute timer out on him, get the new NBC special for himself.
Oof. Yeah,
anyway,
with that.
This is going to be a really cool game. I am picking Randy on this one. He just has too many good threats against him.
I also did go with Randy just because Yveltal is a threat, and if Tup can't deal with the Suicune very well, he's gonna be in for a really long game.
All right. Going into our next game here, we do have the Miami Dawn fans versus the Victorian Shadows, which is Kyle A versus NecroStevo. Now, this is actually my pick for Game of the Week. I think this is like the best matchup because it's very even. Now, let me start with hashtag never lost.
Hashtag never lost.
It's week 1, so he hasn't lost yet technically, so it's right, but I don't think after this week he can claim that. Your switch into Xerneas stabs are about as well as Mono Tui switches into Como from Tom.
Ooh, boy.
Hopefully Klefki can do some work, otherwise like Moonblast, T-Bolt, HP Ice, and like a filler move, run through your entire team. Gren is cool, and you can try to weaken it with like Gunk Miss, but ask Randy how well that goes.
It's getting a little cloudy over here.
Oh, it's gonna get even more fun. Anyone who knows the Pick'em Show knows that this is a very fun show.
Very cloudy, very shady show. So, the thing is that Klefki can really do a lot of work for Kyle. Because, you obviously know Prankster T-Wave. He can really just Prankster T-Wave everything not named Hydreigon and Landorus and pretty much be okay. The Xerneas, once it's paralyzed, is not much of a threat. Like, it's still a Xerneas, but a paralyzed Xerneas is beneficial for Kyle. And the Greninja, like you said, can come in and click Gunk Shot or, Sludge. Kyle is no stranger to heat sets. So I wouldn't be surprised if I saw, like, special Zygarde 50% coming in with Sludge Wave to hit that Xerneas. Like Roselli Berry with Sludge Wave or something like that. That could be something we could see. And then again, no Geomancy on Xerneas is beneficial for Kyle as well, but Persian Alolan form, like the Alolan Persian, can still come in and party shot around and be a really big nuisance for NecroStevo.
Now, Necro, look at Kyle's team. Now back to Xerneas. Now back at Kyle's team. Now back to me. Sadly, he doesn't switch in. But if he stopped using Lady Scented Body Wash and switched to Old Spice, he could switch in like with a bulky steel. Look up. Look down. Back up. Where are you? You're on a boat with Xerneas, thinking it's the GBA trophy smells like. What's in your hand? Back at Xerneas. I have it. It's the GBA trophy. It's an oyster with 2 tickets to the thing you love and the GBA trophy. Now look again. Your tickets are now diamonds and extra wins against him.
I'm just gonna openly say that I hate you so much right now. Like,
I have to pull references. We have to have fun on the show.
We do have to have fun on the show. So, you know, it happens.
Anyway, I am going to pick Necrostevo here. Xerneas just does too much work. Yes, Alolan Persian's cool. But if he comes up with something like maybe even Scarf, like, it could seriously pressure the entire team. And just straight whittle everything down for winning.
I'm going to go with Miami Dom fans and Kyle. I feel like I'm going to see some heat sets this week, and it's just not going to work out for Stevo here.
And this is the most torn we all are on for any game. We are split down the middle, especially with the fan Discord picks. Now, let's move on to our next game, which is the San Diego Chimchargers versus the Montreal Habsols, which is Lord Envy versus Aster J, respectively. Now, Envy, I'd say you have Giratina O, and that's dope, but the fact of the matter is that Mega Mawile does more damage than a bad ex-girlfriend. Like, Nidoqueen is cool against you, and it's really good, but you have a Haxorus. You have to keep Haxorus alive in order to, like, even try to win this game, hoping that Rotom Wash is dead or that Torn T is gone completely. I feel like you'll come up with some stupid Smeargle set, by the way, and just help him win. Like, I feel like that's an MV mon.
You know, kind of. I mean, Smeargle's one of those Pokemon where most of the time you just expect it to be like, you know, Sash lead with webs and Nuzzle and, you know, all that other stuff. But I feel like Envy can do special things with Smeargle. However, the thing on Aster's roster that I'm a little worried about is that Dawnwing's Necrozma, while I am going to preach till the day that I die that Dawnwing's Necrozma is not a very good Pokemon, that is on ladder play. I believe that it is not a very good Pokemon. Dawnwing's Necrozma in draft format, however, is a pretty good Pokemon.
It's almost like it's a legendary.
Now, you know, look at Envy's team and tell me that, find one thing on Aster's team that really wants to deal with Ho-Oh, like a banded Ho-Oh.
Pebble throwing T-Tar.
Pebble throwing T-Tar.
I'm not wrong.
No, son. Envy's got that Bronzong right there. That bell is tolling for thee.
Now, I do see where you're coming from on that, but like, Necrozma, Dawnwings, and Mawile put enough offensive pressure on his team that you'd think it's almost World War III, dude. Like, they are standing over him like that big brother you really don't like, and you're in like set 5 of like a Smash tournament or something like that. Like, it's a lot of pressure.
Yes. Just looking at matchup, it could honestly either go either way. Whoever puts the most offensive pressure, I think, will be able to win this game early on.
Yeah.
That is. I don't see this being a slow-paced game at all.
I do feel like this is going to be a really good game. I do feel like Rotom Wash is like the most pressured mon on like this side of the earth. Like, if Rotom Wash goes down, Mega Diancie and Haxorus can straight up just win for Envy. Like, I think Envy does win this game just based on how much offensive pressure Rotom Wash is going to have to do. Especially with no reliable recovery, it's going to be a hard yikes from me.
I also picked Envy, as well as everybody else.
Yeah.
All the other analysts and the fan Discord. It is just straight Envy across the board.
It looks like we're all clean sweeping this one, but this game is a lot closer than we picked it. This easily could flip either way, and it would not surprise me if Aster won this game.
No.
Now watch MB 6-0. Cause Pick'em curse.
Oof.
Anyway,
Yikes.
let's get into our next game, which is the Tennessee Trubbish versus the Melbourne Rotoms, which is Deathly I Am versus Cybertron VGC, respectively. Now, Deathly, Volcarona, Kyurem White, and Mega Aggron. That's literally all I have to say. That pressures the entire team of errands.
Yeah. So I see Kyurem White, and I look at Cybertron's team, and it doesn't really want to take anything. Like, Wobbuffet is like its best way of beating Kyurem White, and that's a Wobbuffet. I said Wobbuffet, guys.
Yeah, like it's crazy. Like, Magmortar is cool, but like it's not staying in on like a Dragon Pulse.
No, and like even then, you know, Deathly can switch in what Volcarona, like you know, Feeny even. I mean, Specs Thunderbolt's not gonna feel good. But we've got two Shadow Taggers. Deathly's got Gothitelle. Cybertron's got Wobbuffet. It might be more of a slower paced game because I'm looking at Aaron's team and it's kind of fat. It's like really fat.
I was gonna say Toxapex is a reliable switch, and then I remembered Kyurem White gets Psychic. Like,
Kyurem White gets a lot of things. It's a Kyurem White. It's got base 170 special attack with an insane special move pool. Yeah, there's a lot of things that can go wrong for Cybertron if he does not play right.
Now, Aaron, don't pull a last season from you and use like the same 6 mods every week. It's hard to pick for you when you do that unless one of them literally has like a matchup where it's 6-0s. So I can't pick Cybertron in good faith. I am going to go with Deathly on this game, although this game is really one-sided in my opinion. I'm
also going to go with Deathly, and it's nothing against last season. It's just there's a Kyurem White right there. I've got to go with the Kyurem White.
Yeah. Like, I think, like, Specs Ice Beam probably does, like, 80 to Wobbuffet. Like, it's crazy. It probably does a lot. It does a lot. The rest of the people seem to think that Aaron will pull it out. So I want to see what you guys do think about this game down in the comment section down below. Let us know what you guys are picking for the season. Let's move on to our next game, though, which is the Borussia Donphan versus the Los Angeles Needle Kings, which is El Scizor versus TTM Crobat for the win, aka Danza, respectively. Now, I'll let you start this one, Austin.
Okay, so as you guys can see, I did go with Lars on this, even though Danza is my boy. That is my friend Danza, who is followed by Chris Hansen on Twitter. I'm looking at Lars's team, and he's got a very good matchup here because Mega Manectric, it can come in. Deoxys Attack, that's a giant threat for Danza. But mainly it's the Kyurem Black. The Kyurem Black with Z moves is something that everybody fears when they're prepping for a game, because you don't know what Z move it's going to run, but you know it's going to get a kill every time that thing touches the field. Every time.
Now, Jirachi and Kyurem B have to go in if Lars wants to win this game, in my opinion. If he wants to have any chance to try to steal this game away. Danza is pissed about his most recent league exit, the PCL, and is on a revenge tour, dude. Like, Deoxys Attack is cool, but it dies to a Stiff Breeze that's a priority move. It has 20 base defense and 20 base HP. A Quick Attack from a Furret kills it, for example. Like, no Z Azu, though, that like heavily saddens me, but I understand Z Kyurem. Like, it's cool, but I feel like Azu suits this team more as a better Z user. But Danza. Holy Como food. Like, for real. +1/+1 with Stealing Z and Dual Stab. Run train. Like, the power of Bob Ross flowing through him with 1% of Shaggy's power just runs through Lars. Like, if Lars wants any chance, he has to let Como not set up.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, that goes for anybody playing Como, or really any Dragon Dancing, sweeper. It's but especially Como, now that it's got, I say now, but since we've been playing the Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon meta, they gave Como so many more, like, so much better moves, I should say. So that makes it much more of a threat, but we are really lacking on the fact that Danza has the Mega Alakazam right there.
Yeah.
That's also a giant threat. But again, Danza does have Palkia as well, which in the right sense can probably take on Kyurem Black once it's already popped its Z move, but he cannot afford to let Palkia go in on the Kyurem Black until the Z move is gone.
Genesec's also really cool, and he also has Bulu Lucha. Like, Danza just has so many good offensive checks to his team, where a lot of things on Lars' side just don't want to switch in. Like, Mandibuzz has to come for Hawlucha alone. Like, otherwise the rest of his team just drops to Dual Stab. So, there's just so much on Danza's side. I can't pick against him in this game.
I'm definitely going with Lars, just because Lars has a lot of offensive threats that can pressure Danza in the right situation. And, like, Azumarill can switch in on Heatran and Bulu pretty respectively. Assuming that he's like Sap Sipper or Azumarill.
Yeah, I was just about to say that better be Sap Sipper.
Right, yeah, I mean, obviously it's going to be Sap Sipper. I mean, You know, who's gonna go hard into Ozzy on a Boo if you're not Sap Sipper, you know.
He's a man.
If you mess with Lars, you get the scars.
Okay. Would you say this is your game of the week, Austin?
I think this is gonna be my game of the week because it looks like it's a pretty good matchup.
It's gonna be a good one to watch. Let's go into our next one, which is the Durham Druddigons versus the Pittsburgh Pichus, which is 6-foot Trash versus Numb Nexus. The meme stays around.
I'm not gonna let you disrespect my boy Leo like that.
It's 6-foot Trash, and you will not convince me otherwise. Claps in between words.
Man, I can't believe I'm gonna let you do that.
Now, okay. Now, Leo, I feel like I'm gonna say Marshadow more times than Designer says the word panda. Like, it's just gonna be a fact of the matter. Like, Marshadow was so good. Marshadow plus Scarf Garchomp, well, Scarf Austin, puts in a lot of work. And it can stop Buzzwole and Mega Venusaur and Zyfather. Like, but you just have to be careful if you don't let Celesteela set up if, like, Marshadow's Sash is not intact.
Yeah, so, just real quick, in a league that we were just previously in, I had Zygarde 100% and Celesteela. And I dropped Zygarde in week 7. It was gone. It wasn't doing it for me. But the Celesteela, on the other hand,
oh my god,
that is something that I ran the same Celesteela set for like 7 weeks in a row, and
more like 10.
Yeah, and no one really could stop me. Once Celesteela gets going, it's a freight train. You have a hard time dealing with it.
Now, see, the easiest way to counter Celesteela is to put enough pressure on it in the early game. Make sure it doesn't have the opportunity to set up, and that is how Austin lost a lot of games.
Yeah,
but that's not just like
set up too early.
Yeah, that's not just on Austin. That's on Celesteela uses a lot. You have to put pressure on Celesteela. Like, Nexus has to get rid of Marshadow and Darkrai and Crest and Scarf Austin. This is just for Celesteela or Zyfather to do any work because of how scary those mons are. He can have fun with this matchup. And Leo's got Comfy. Don't sleep on Comfy. Oh my god, that annoying. Ugh.
Do not sleep on Comfy. I'm just telling you right now.
I actually like Zilix's lock on this game. Zilix decided to lock this game. I feel like this is a really solid matchup to lock just because Leo's matchup is really good. He may be 6-foot Trash, but he's not bad at the game.
Leo's matchup is just way too good to pass up on this one, so I also went with the Druddigons this week.
Yeah, everyone went with the Druddigons. Like, this is... I hate to bash Nexus, but like, this is such a hard matchup for him. I honestly can't see many ways he can work around this matchup.
This is a very rough week 1 for Nexus.
Exactly. Alright, let's get into our last game of the week, which is the New York Noibats versus the San Jose Sharpedos, which is Mewtwo fan Nate versus Tom Z1272. Now, Nate, welcome to the GBA. As a prize, you get to face the cop of the league, who also has one of the best teams in my opinion. Scarm and Seismitoad are going to have to put in a metric ton of work in order for you to not lose to Mega Lucario and Sizz or Bullet Punch spam. Like, Arcanine is cool, but Araquanid comes on and slams down one banded Adamant Liquidation bubble, like, and it bodies something. Like,
Araquanid is such a good Pokemon, and I dare anybody to disagree with me.
It's so slept on and it's so good. I love it on Tom's team.
So, I'm looking at this matchup, and Mega Lucario puts in a ton of work.
Yeah, the Exposure Machine 9000 is about to run train.
Man. So, like, Nate's got Mewtwo and stuff, but I got beat down by a Mewtwo, but that was, like, not the only thing that... No, now wait a minute. My matchup, and Omega Jolteon, who was the one that beat me down, will agree that on paper, my matchup is probably the worst thing ever. But Tom has a much better time dealing with the Mewtwo. You know, he's got about 15 things that he can Scarf.
Yeah.
And just beat it down. So, you know, it's one of those things. And then Seismitoad really isn't too much of an issue for Tom because he's got the Amoonguss. You know, he's got ways to deal with the Seismitoad, because obviously it'll be Rindo Berry, like it is every time a Seismitoad comes to a game. It'll be Rock's Rindo Berry, and it's something that Tom can deal with.
Yeah.
Plus, he's got my favorite, like one of my favorite Pokemon. He's got Tapu Koko with Z moves. I love that Pokemon.
He loves some Cocoa Puffs.
I like how we're all ignoring the Naganadel right there on Nate's team, though.
Like, Naganadel's cool and all, but, like, there's a Gliscor right there. Like,
Naganadel with no Z moves is awful.
Yeah, Naganadel with Z moves is borderline, like, stupid good.
It's a nuke. It gets a kill every time.
Without Z moves, it just doesn't hit as hard. It needs that one nuke in order for it to start snowballing. Like, we mentioned Mewtwo. Like, Mewtwo's awesome and all, but, like, Tom has a Weavile. Weavile literally switches in and clicks either Pursuit or Knockoff and destroys something on his team.
Switches in on the Psychic move as long as Nate doesn't click Aura Sphere on the switch, yeah.
Yeah, like, it fits Nate's branding, I guess.
I'm fully confident that he drafted Mewtwo solely off namesake.
Solely off the name, yeah. But, like, for real. Tom's matchup is just crazy fun. Like, Weavile and Bullet Punch spam literally run train. Mega Gyarados and Chirac are really, really cool, and he does have, like, a Galvantula for webs, but Mega Luke and Scizor don't care about webs. Bullet Punch is, like, such a hard-hitting priority move that Nate's gonna have to really figure out something like maybe Weak Armor Skarmory with, like, close combat, like, hack the game or something like that. Like,
right.
It's just such a hard matchup for Nate.
The problem that Tom is going to have when he's building with Mega Lucario is that he's going to find that he can't run enough coverage. He's going to get walled by something. He just has to decide what he wants to get walled by that his other members of his team can take care of.
Exactly. But
this is going to be my lock for the week.
Yeah, this is such a hard one-sided game in my opinion. Like this game was a complete sweep. Like, this is one of those, like the last game, the Durham Guns game, where it's such a hard matchup week 1 for their opponent. Like, it's gonna be a fun game to watch. I think Nate will put up a good fight, but I just see Tom just breaking through. But yeah, that is all of the games for week 1. Like I said before, be sure to let us know what you guys are picking down in the comment section down below. Let us know what you guys thought of this video. We appreciate it. And Austin, do you have any final thoughts?
No. All I gotta say is hashtag never lost, and the San Jose Sharpedos are gonna win.
That's about it. Thank you guys very much for tuning in to this week's episode of the Pick'em Crew. We leave you all with a happy day, and peace out, Scouts.
Bye.